Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be doing another mood reading video. So I did one of these a little while ago and actually really enjoyed it. I found it to be such a nice break from kind of my structured videos where I'm trying to find like a theme and reading through specific books, just letting myself have some freedom to read whatever I want. And yeah, I found it really kind of recharged my reading. So I thought we'd do another one because I want to, and I have books that I want to read that I can't quite fit into like a themed video. So let's get into it. So the first book I read was The Lion's Den by Catherine St. John. This actually ended up being off my physical TBR because I bought this book off a charity shop and then like read it immediately. This book follows Belle, whose best friend Summer has like a new billionaire boyfriend who is taking her on his yacht. Summer invites like some of her friends and Belle ends up going. They kind of have like a little bit of a distant friendship, but they end up going, and then things turn quite dark and we start to see like the other side of this guy and the other side of Summer, and then there's some more that happens. I won't keep going, but this book was fun. I gave it like, I think it was 3.5 stars maybe, but it's very much a popcorn book. So I read this while traveling actually, and I like couldn't put it down. You'll read right through it. It's fun. The setting is obviously amazing because you're on a luxury like super yacht, so what's not to love there? It was a lot of fun. I do think it was pretty scary. Like it was definitely like thriller scary moments, and definitely like some edge of your seat, like you're holding your breath hoping that she gets away or she's safe. Overall, I don't think there was too many like twists and turns. It was kind of like one or two big twists, but nothing crazy. Yeah, it's fine. It was a nice like popcorny book. It was well written. I don't think it's anything crazy, but yeah, I enjoyed it. The next book I read was His Last Bow, which is another edition in the Sherlock Holmes series by Arthur Conan Doyle. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. This is another collection of short stories, which I always love. I think they're kind of easier to get through because it's kind of like, I'd read one a night or something, or it's just easy. Like I like his novels as well, but the short stories, he does a lot more short stories and they are quite fun. And then I really enjoyed getting to read The Last Bow, or His Last Bow, that short story, because obviously that's like the one where Sherlock dies. Spoiler, like a century late, it's a spoiler. But I don't know, like I've heard of it a lot. I've seen all the like twists that other interpretations have taken on it. So it was really fun to read like the actual story behind it and like what actually happened. And it was really interesting, very fantastical, crazy, but yeah, it was fun. I also really like that Arthur Conan Doyle like killed off Sherlock there. And then because everyone was just hating on him and was like, your other books aren't as good, we don't want this, we want Sherlock back, he had to resurrect him, which I think is kind of funny. Like fan bases really can pressure the author into doing whatever they want. But yeah, it was fun. Stories are always great. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a really wild story. It was fun to see it play out, and the rest of the short stories are always great. The next book I mood read was The Stormwatch by CJ Box. I actually DNF'd this very early on. This is kind of like a Western, I think it's about a park ranger, and yeah, like a Western vibe. I picked this up at a charity bookshop thinking it was a CJ Tudor book after I read, I'll put it up on screen, I can't remember the book, but I read it last year and I really enjoyed it. The Edge, I want to say. Something like that. A CJ Tudor book, which I loved. And so I saw this CJ box when it was like 50 cents. I was like, yes, I'm getting that. It was not the same author. So I thought, okay, I'll still give it a go because it's based in Wyoming. I used to live in Wyoming. I was like, maybe. No, I don't, I think I got through like 2 chapters. It's not for me. I'm not going to read it if I'm not going to enjoy it. So why would I continue? So there's no point. So I'm sure other people would enjoy it. It just, I can't tell you much about it. Yeah. So I DNF'd it. I unhauled it. It's gone. The next book I read was The Vanishing Point by Andrea Hotter. I gave this like 4.75 stars. I love this book. It's one of my favorite books of this year. It is so much fun. So we kind of have a dual timeline where we have this like student who's studying this painting, and her mum was studying this painting before her. She started studying the painting, and then we flash back and forth between then and then when the painting was like originally painted back in the day. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to say it's Renaissance because I really don't know my art periods very well, but back in the day. And so she is trying to find like the hidden, everyone's convinced there's a hidden meaning in this painting. And so we're kind of going back and forth, and then we're finding out that there's a darker thing to the painting and there's people trying to cover it up and all this kind of stuff. I love this book so much. It was so much fun. It does have a magical realism element, which I kind of wasn't expecting, and I usually don't like, but I actually really enjoyed it in this book. So that was fun. The characters were really well done. It was quite fun to unravel the mystery with the main character who's like finding all this stuff out. And she's just like a lovable character. But yeah, I had such a great time with this. It was a really interesting mystery as well, like just a creative story. Like the author did a really good job with this, and I'm quite surprised by, not that I wasn't expecting good things, but I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it, because it's not a very well-known book, I suppose, on Goodreads, and I haven't really seen it anywhere. But I absolutely love this. I would highly recommend it. I do also think I've realized, like, I just love a book about art. I love a book about a painting, and this kind of had like a mild Da Vinci Code vibes, which was fun. And yeah, I also do just like a grad student looking into stuff. Like that's always a fun kind of story as well. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book. The last book I read was Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and I gave this 5 stars. I love this book. I have been waiting to read this for so long. I mean, not waiting, but it's been on my TBR for a while. So this book follows Jen, and Jen basically sees her son murder somebody, and they like go through this whole thing. And then the next morning she wakes up and it's the day before. And then the day before she wakes up, it's the day before that. So she's going back in time and trying to obviously work out what's going on, why she's going back in time, what's going on, how could she prevent her son from murdering someone, unraveling all this stuff. Oh my goodness, the twists and turns in this book were just so good. Like, Gillian McAllister's mind is crazy. Like, I don't know how you come up with this. So it's kind of a similar sort of, not vibe, but sort of like premise to 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I love. I love this element of that. So like the time travel, jumping back and forth, like Groundhog Day kind of vibes. Very fun. But this was just a very different vibe than 7.5 Deaths, so don't go into it thinking similar vibe. This very much had kind of like a Lisa Jewell feeling, where we are also exploring motherhood, which I love. I love that. It's one of my favorite things about my favorite Lisa Jewell books is seeing the effects of losing your child on a mother, or I sound so sadistic. I'm not sadistic, but losing your child on the mother. Lisa explores those elements really well, and it was really similar with this book, and I loved that. It was very interesting. You know, this mother's just desperate to see what she's done wrong, or like how she lost her son. I guess he's becoming a teenager. Obviously you're going to grow apart a bit, and she's like, where did everything happen? So she's jumping back in time. And she doesn't know why, like she's jumping back in time, and she doesn't know how to stop it. So yeah, it was just so much fun. I can't recommend this book enough. It was amazing. Another one of my favorites of the year. Yeah, it was just beautifully done. It's also like a very bold concept, and I feel like I keep seeing books that have these really cool concepts and then they fall flat, but this was like crazy cool concept, and it was executed impeccably. It was so well done. So I loved all the twists and turns. It was a really fun journey for like us to go on and discover stuff, but also like it was a beautiful journey for Jen to go on and kind of seeing like what's important, you know, where she could have differed for her child, what things, you know, she made fun of him for stuff, lightly making fun, what she shouldn't have, that kind of thing. And it was just interesting. I think we all have that, where if you could go back to a day and relive it, like with the knowledge you have now, or even just a moment where you're sitting going, oh, I wish I didn't say that. It was kind of fun to see her like getting to go back and do that, and then realizing that her answers do matter. And it's kind of a scary part of life, actually, not to get too deep, but like, you know, you making all these arbitrary decisions, and you don't even think it's a decision. You could say one thing, you could say another, you don't even know, but those could have very different results. The butterfly effect of life is kind of crazy. Yeah, very existential. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this book. Alright, so that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I read like 1 book off my physical TBR. I'm not sure if I can count The Lion's Dead because I bought it and then read it, but we'll count it. So 2 books on my physical TBR, and I did unhaul both of them, so that's great. And yeah, I found 2 of like my favorite books of the year, both like, I'm gonna call Vanishing Point like 5-star for the purpose of this. So 2 5-star reads, which is fantastic. I'm not sure why I'm surprised, because this is mood reading, so I picked these books. But yeah, it was fun to get these read, and it was a nice break to have like fun books I wanted to read. If you guys did enjoy, please consider hitting like or subscribing, and let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these and what your thoughts were, or if you have any recommendations for me based on these. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in another video soon. Bye!